Peacemaker wants to know. Peacemaker is an investigator. He's been investigating round. This one.
By criminals. Gentlemen of the press, as our steady partners in progress towards a better Nigeria, we have called you here to address you on an issue that touches the soul of activism and civil society in Nigeria that must not be left unattended to. Last week we were flooded with calls from all sectors of Nigeria following a petition to the U.S. Department of the Treasury Office of Foreign Asset Control through its United States Embassy in Abuja by one NGO, self-styled as the Concerned Citizen on Economic Reform Nigeria, signed by two persons, namely Comrade Tijani Ibrahim as convener and Ambassador Fatima Abubakar as secretary. The petition titled Persons of Interest in the Violation of the Coalition Agreed Price Cap on Russian Crude was against the GCEO of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mr. Mele Kyari, and the Chief Executive Officer of Metris Nigeria Group, Abubakar Adiza Aliu. The various calls to us from Nigerians centered on the fact that the office address listed on the group letterhead belongs to us, and the name used by the group was also twisted to look like one of our own. The name of the convener also happens to be assumed to be one of us, since we have such a name in our coalition. Gentlemen, we have gathered here to denounce the letter written to the U.S. government and to state categorically clear that we were impersonated by those who wrote it. For the records, the NGO who wrote it is disguised as one of us, is not registered with Corporate Affairs Commission. Secondly, the two phone numbers used in their letterhead do not exist anywhere but created out of their memories. Most importantly, the address listed there as Suite B5, second floor, Dansville Plaza, number 5, David Ejov Crescent, Abuja, is currently unoccupied. We all occupied the various sections of Dansville Plaza for over 10 years as NGOs. But last year, December, the owner of the place sold it and we were moved to a new place. Even while we used the plaza as our office, there was nothing like B5, as it was never numbered that way. As we speak, the plaza is currently unoccupied, totally empty. We therefore wonder who will use a non-registered NGO to write to a country like the US from a non-existing address in order to make it look like our work as a former occupant of the place. As NGOs, we do not subscribe to blackmail of the NNPCL, GCEO, Mele Kyari, and the CEO of Metris Energy, Abubakar Adiza Aliu, and will not sit back and watch people impersonate organization we have built credibly for years in order to make us look like enemies of a well-meaning Nigerian state. Anyone who has asked to grind with NNPCL and its management, as well as the Metris Energy Group, should be bound to use their registered NGO as well as address, not ours. The United States Department of the Treasury Office of Foreign Asset Control should disregard the petition submitted by the personators, as it is not authored by any of us who are former occupants of the address in the non-existing NGO. We find it distasteful to be used by any group of persons or companies fighting for their own interest, and will be proceeding to submit a letter of disclaimer to the U.S. Department of the Treasury Office of Foreign Asset and Control through its United States Embassy in Abuja on this issue that is almost eroding our integrity and credibility and reputation. We thank you for coming. My name remains Ambassador Splendour Akponkpolor. I am the Executive Director.
This, not for anything, for the fact that we had occupied that building for as long as we had. It is important that any other civil society organization that intend to use that address for any reason should be able to be open for people to know him. We have received calls right from the day this was released on the media, which will mar our own integrity as an organization or a coalition. In that building then, as civil society, we were occupying various places in the office there. But unfortunately, we left that place last year, December. Until now, the place is under some form of reformation and reconstruction for new occupants to take over while this came out. So if any person is bold to go into civil society, of course, any information you have, there is right to freedom of information in Nigeria now. And if you are afraid of coming out to say what you have found, you don't hide under the cover of where people have sat and built their integrity for you to be able to come to the society, I mean the civil populace, to now start making unfounded statements with somebody else's address, which we are not even using anymore. So it behoves on us to get back at those who have done this thing, to come out openly if they are really sure of what they did, to let the world know that this is what we have done and we are the one. Most of us here are not new on the media space, in the civil society cycle, on advocating for issues of interest to the government or against the government. And for anybody to come and think that they can use an integrity that we have built over time is a farce, and we are not going to stand to watch that happen. Thank you and good afternoon.